Hey everyone, Pete Winarski here, founder and CEO of Win Enterprises LLC. And today we're talking about this intersection between your strategy, your action, and your mindset. I was just closing out another window. I don't know how the camera could do it, but it looked like it had two things going on at the same time. Strategy, mindset, and action, and how all of those three things come together to actually create the results and the progress that you want. And what's challenging for many people is you get kind of stuck in one of those spots. And usually it's, I think I know what to do. I think I know how to get things done. So I just grind it out and I start pushing and I'm going as hard as I can. And, of course, there's the mindset and the action that is at play too. So knowing what to do is your strategy. What are the steps? Knowing the problems that you're solving with great clarity. There's a lot of in the corporate world, the binder on the shelf for the strategy for this year, right? Here's our 5-year strategy. Then you've got in sort of the corporate world, you've got the progress reviews and different structures and things, and like, okay, let's have the big report. You sit down, you do this big presentation on the wall, the PowerPoint that's this thick that talks about all these elements, right? So how does that actually turn into the results? It's a strategy, but where are the results? If you're a small business person, you have the same basic problem. You may have created something of a strategy in your mind, and it's potentially not even written down. Potentially, you might not even know what to do, right? You may not even have the strategy part figured out. So knowing what to do and how to do it is really what we'll call the strategy. Then you've got the mindset. Where's your mental framework right now? Are you in a place where you're thrilled about your possibilities and you're optimistic and you have I can get it done sort of attitude, right? Mindset and attitude really go hand in hand. Unconsciously in your inner brain where you're this is what's really running how you think, what you do, etc. It's what kind of beliefs are unspoken, unwritten, but it's a program that's running inside of your head. What does that look like? Because you may find that you've got some beliefs that are holding you back that you don't even know are there, that came from early on in your life. Maybe it was from experiences you had in the schoolyard when you were in second grade and somebody pushed you off of the swing. And, then all sorts of things happen from that point on that reinforce that the world is not a safe place to be and don't put yourself out there. Maybe you got pushed off the swing because you said something to somebody. So therefore it's not safe to speak out. Who knows? The brain works in a funny way. Listen, the brain's got 3 fundamental jobs when it comes to your unconscious mind. It wants to protect you. It wants to make sense of things, and it wants to be right. And when those 3 things are in place, it starts to build evidence and it turns into a belief, right? So you may have beliefs that are limiting, or you might have reframing your experiences into new beliefs that do support you. There's a certain number of procedures and techniques and things that I can lead you through to help you with that. And if not me, of course, someone on our team. But the point is, you're not stuck for life, and we can change up your mindset in a way that is just helping you to absolutely thrive. Thrive is one of my favorite words. We want you to rocket your revenue and your success and just live at a new level, one that is thriving or just energetic and excited and taking off. So that's what that's all about. Now, what about action? So here's what happens sometimes, and I'll tell you about these 3 things in isolation in a second. But action is nothing changes until something happens, right? It's the idea that you've got to be moving in motion. You've got inertia, and momentum, and you got to get things started, which is the inertia, and you overcome inertia, and then you create momentum and you get some things rolling. You might even be in action potentially on the wrong things, but at least you're in action. So here's how to lay these things out. So let's work action backwards. If you're in action but working on the wrong things, an adjustment over here on the strategy can now get you into a place where, okay, I'm in motion and now I'm turning the ship towards the right things, right? You're turning into making sure that you're working on the right things in the right way. And then, so now you got strategy and action kind of combined. But what about mindset? Because some people are like, well, I can't do it yet because I don't know everything that I need to know. So therefore, I'm not going to start. Or I'm kind of afraid to get rolling down that path. And then, but is it okay to change it? No, I want to make sure I know the path perfectly. Well, you don't know the path perfectly. As you get into action, you follow the strategy, you might learn, hey man, there's a slight tweak that you need to make. Just change the dial a little bit in order to get the results that you really want. And if you don't end up making the tweaks, then you might be drifting off at this 15, 20, 30 degree angle from where you really want to end up. So think about it. When you drive in your car, you hold the steering wheel with two hands. And if you fixed it, you think you're driving straight, you might find that, wait, I wasn't straight at all. So the steering wheel, you're making these little tiny course corrections. This is what I've got two relatively new drivers in the house. They're 17 and 19, so relatively new. And if they just did this, they could go right off the road, right? Because they're just not aligned. The road, of course, also not as it that would be on a straight road where you still have to make these little adjustments. The road turns and it twists, and so what's interesting here, and I love this metaphor that I got from a conversation I had when I first met Jack Canfield years and years ago, which was where he suggested to me, because we were in a conversation about not necessarily knowing all of the steps. And his point was, well, when you're in your car driving at night, your headlights only shine so far down the road. That's all you can really see. So if you're going along and then the road turns left, at that point in time, when you see that, notice it, you make the adjustment and you turn left. And then if the road comes back around, turns right, then you make the adjustment and you turn right. You follow along. You're able to see what you can see, and you go with the plan, and you are fine. You get to your destination. So yes, it could be incredibly helpful to have a map or your GPS programmed, and ahead of time where is it you're going. So yes, you want that. There's your strategy. But then you get into action and you start driving. You find out that there's a sign, road closed ahead, detour. So you have to make an adjustment to your action, adjustment to your plan to still get to the final destination. If your GPS is running, your GPS is going to say, recalculating, hold please, right? And it tells you, and there's that voice that tells you exactly what to do next after making an adjustment. Well, we can do the same thing. We get into action and it's just moving. Okay, I guess I have to go follow the arrow that says detour this way. No problem, right? But then the mindset side, what if you're like, oh my God, and you freak out. What am I going to do? I don't know what I'm doing now. Well, that would be an unproductive mindset versus no problem. I'm up for the adventure. Looks like I'm going to drive down this way. Yep. And I'm going to go through this neighborhood that's not on my map, not on my route, but it's still something productive. So strategy, action, mindset, strategy, action, mindset, all three matter combined together in order to get the results you want. So before I wrap, remember to come back to More Revenue, More Profit, the Facebook group. In fact, let me throw this on the ticker. I forgot to do that before, so I'll show that now. We want you to be part of the More Revenue, More Profit group. So if you're hearing this on our podcast, Business Results Radio, then obviously, because we're repurposing these Facebook Lives, then land yourself over to more revenue, more profit. And if you're watching this through our YouTube channel, or you're watching this through one of the other places where we're posting it, no problem. Come on over to More Revenue, More Profit Facebook group. So strategy plus mindset plus action, the three things combined is what's going to help you to be successful. Come back soon.